Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, my dear lovely friends. How are you? I hope you are all best and take good knowledge for this my video. My topic today about which I give you information about what is friction. I am complete teach you about it about friction in physics. But first of all, if you are new my channel, so also please subscribe my channel, press the bell icon so I start my topic about friction. So now I am start about it friction. Have you noticed? Have you noticed why a moving ball stop and why a bicycle stops when the cyclist stops pedaling? Are you noticed? It is things. Naturally, there must be some force that stops moving objects. Since a force not only moves on objects but also stops moving all moving objects when we do stops, and the cyclists keep on pedaling to overcome friction. And friction definition: the force that opposes the motion of moving objects is called its friction. And friction is a force that comes into the action as soon as body is pushed or pulled over its surface. And in case of solids, the force of friction between two bodies depends upon many factors such as nature of the two surfaces in contact and the pressing force between them. And rub your palm over different surfaces such as table, carpet, polished marble surface, brick, etc. And you will find smoother is the surface, easier it is to move, and easy to move your palm over the surface. And moreover, harder you press your palm over the surface, more difficult would be to move. And why friction opposes motion? No surface is perfectly smooth. A surface that appears smooth has uh, pits and bumps that can be seen under the microscope. Under the microscope shows two wooden blocks with their polished surfaces in contact, and a magnified view of the smooth surfaces in contact shows the gap and contacts between them. And contact between them, the contact point between the two surfaces sort from a sort of cold welds. These cold welds resist the surfaces from sliding over each other, and adding weight over the upper block increases the force. uh, Adding weight over the upper block increases the force pressing the surfaces together, and hence increases the resistance. Thus created is the pressing force. Pressing force greater will be the friction between the sliding surface. If friction is equal to the applied force that tends to move a body at rest, it is increases with the applied force. Friction can be increased to contain maximum value. It does not increase beyond this, and the maximum value of friction is known as the force of limiting friction, Fs. It depends on the normal reaction pressing force between the two surfaces in contact, and the ratio between the force of limiting friction Fs and the normal reaction R is constant. This constant is called the coefficient of friction, and is represented by micro. And thus micro is equal Fs by R. Fs is equal micro R. And if m be the mass of the block, then for horizontal surface R is equal mg, and Fs is equal micro mg. and friction is needed to walk on the ground. It is the risky to run on wet floor with shoes that have smooth soles. Athletes use special shoes that have extraordinary ground grip. Such shoes prevent them from slipping while running fast. What will we do to stop our bicycle? We will apply brakes. The rubber pad and the rubber pad pressed against the rims provide friction. It is the friction that stops the bicycle. Now we discuss about what is rolling friction. Wheel, wheel is one of the most important inventions in the history of mankind. The first thing about a wheel is that it rolls as it moves rather than one side. This greatly reduces friction. Why? And when the axle of a wheel is pushed, the force of friction between the wheel and the ground at the reaction of force acts at the contact points of the wheel in a direction opposite to the applied force. The wheel rolls without returning the cold welds. This is why the rolling friction is much smaller than sliding friction. The fact that rolling friction is less than sliding friction is applied in ball bearings or roller bearings to reduce losses due to the friction. And the wheel would be a roll on pushing if there was no friction between the wheel and the ground. Thus friction is desirable for wheels to roll over a surface. It is dangerous to drive on a wet road because the friction between the road and the tires is very small, and this increases the chance of slipping the tires from a road. The threading on tires is designed to increase friction, thus threading improves road grip and makes it safer to drive even on wet road. And a cyclist applies brakes to stop his her bicycle. As soon as brakes are applied, the wheels stop rolling and begin the slide over the road. Since sliding friction is much greater than rolling friction, therefore the cycle stops very quickly. And we do discuss about braking and skidding. The wheels of moving vehicle have two velocity components. Moving components. Number one, motion of wheels along the road. Number two, rotation of wheels about their axles. Stop a moving vehicle requires to move a vehicle on the road as well as to stop a moving vehicle requires friction between its tires and the road. For example, if the road is slippery or the tires are worn out, then the tires, instead of rolling, slip over the road, and the vehicle will not move if the wheels start slipping at the same point on the slippery road. Thus, for the wheels to roll, the force of friction, gripping force between the tires and the road must be enough that prevents them from slipping. And similarly, to stop a car quickly, a large force of friction between the tires and the road is needed. Uh, but there is a limit to this force of friction that tires can provide if the brakes are applied too strongly. And wheels the wheels of the car will look up stop turning, and the car will skid due to its large momentum. It will lose its directional control that may result in an accident. In order to reduce the chance of skidding, it is advisable not to apply brakes too hard that look up their rolling motion, especially at high speeds. Moreover, it is unsafe to drive a vehicle with worn out tires. And advantages and disadvantages of friction. Friction has advantages as well as disadvantages. Friction is undesirable when moving at high speeds because it opposes the motion and thus you not the speed of moving objects. Most of our useful energy is lost as heat and sound. Due to the friction between various moving parts of mechanic machines, in machines friction also causes wear and tear of their moving parts. However, sometimes friction is most desirable. We cannot write if there is no friction between paper and the pencil. And friction enables us to walk on the ground. We cannot run. We cannot run on a slippery ground. A slippery ground offers very little friction. Hence, anybody who tries to run on a slippery ground may meet an accident. Similarly, it is dangerous to apply brakes with full force to stop a fast-moving vehicle on a slippery road. And birds could not fly. There was no air resistance, and the reaction of pushed air enables the birds to fly. And thus, in many situations, we need friction, while in other situations, we need to reduce it as much as possible. And write a dream during which you are driving a car and suddenly the friction disappears. What happened it next? A method of reducing friction. And the friction can be reduced by number one, making the sliding surfaces is smooth. Number two, making the fast moving objects a streamlined shape, fish shape, such as cars, aeroplanes, etc. And this causes the smooth flow of air and thus minimizes air resistance at high speeds. And number three, lubricating the sliding surfaces. Number four, using ball bearings or roller bearing because the rolling friction is lesser than to sliding friction. And so friends, how is my topic today about which I tell you about friction. And in this topic I am complete giving information is examples and rolling friction and advantage disadvantage braking and skidding in friction and many other methods of reducing friction, many other types of friction. I am complete teach you about it in this my video. And I hope if you are like this my video and a complete topic, you will also subscribe my channel and press the bell icon, because when you do press the bell icon then you'll see my all contents in this your YouTube page, and you will also take much knowledge for my all YouTube page. So now you give me permission, I am go to my next